Okay, so today we're diving into something pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It has to do with tariffs,
Uh-huh.
and it could really hit us where it hurts
Right.
in our wallets.
Yeah.
We're talking about President Trump's reciprocal tariffs.
Right.
Now, you probably heard about tariffs in the news. It's a hot topic.
For sure.
But today we're going to go a bit deeper.
Okay.
We're looking at this CBS News piece, and
Yeah.
they break down what these tariffs could really mean, especially for us here in the U.S. and also for our major trading partners.
Right.
So reciprocal tariffs, what are they?
Yeah, what are they?
It's pretty straightforward, actually.
Okay.
It's like if another country decides to slap a tariff on something, we're sending them,
Okay.
we just match it
Right.
on a similar product they're sending us.
Tit for tat.
Basically, yeah, two can play at that game.
Exactly. Yeah, the whole idea is to basically level the playing field from
Yeah.
the Trump administration's point of view anyway.
Yeah,
That's their rationale, at least according to the CBS article.
okay.
And of course, protect American jobs. That's a big part of it.
Right, America first. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. You hear President Trump talk a lot about fairness in trade deals.
Right.
And that's really what's driving this whole thing.
Fairness.
Yeah.
Okay, but what does fairness actually mean here?
That's a good question.
Is it really just about the numbers? Like,
Yeah.
who's importing more than they're exporting, or is there something else going on?
Yeah, it's definitely complicated.
Right.
But the article digs into this whole concept of trade imbalances.
Okay.
And it's basically when one country is buying a lot more from another country
Uh-huh.
than they're selling to them, you know.
Right, like lending money to a friend and they never pay you back.
Exactly. It's an imbalance.
Right.
And the U.S. has these kinds of imbalances with several countries, you know?
Yeah, and the article mentions some specific targets for these reciprocal tariffs. India, Argentina,
Uh-huh.
Brazil, and Turkey.
Interesting.
And it's kind of interesting. They're all emerging markets, isn't it?
It is interesting, yeah, and that choice is definitely significant.
Right.
The article actually quotes an analysis from Capital Economics.
Okay.
They're a pretty big economic research firm, very well respected.
Yeah.
And their research shows that these emerging markets are probably going to feel these tariffs more
Okay.
than developed economies.
Why is that? Is it just the size of their economies, or?
I think it's more about the structure of their economies.
Okay.
You know, emerging markets, they tend to rely a lot on exports for their growth.
Right.
Their economies aren't as diversified.
Yeah.
So if their export sector takes a hit, it can really have a ripple effect.
Right, right. And speaking of emerging markets, the article also mentioned that meeting between President Trump and India's Prime Minister Modi.
Oh, yeah.
And the timing's kind of interesting, you know, because India just cut tariffs on some things.
Like what?
Motorcycles, bourbon, try to,
Appease the
Yeah.
U.S. on trade.
Exactly.
Yeah, the timing is definitely interesting. It kind of raises some eyebrows.
Right.
And it shows that these tariffs aren't just about the economics. It's also about geopolitics,
Right.
power dynamics, you know?
Totally.
It's like a chess game.
Right.
And we got to remember, this isn't Trump's first time using tariffs this way.
Right.
We've already seen him do it with Canada, China, Mexico,
Yeah.
even steel and aluminum imports globally.
Right. It's all part of this trade war that's been going on.
Exactly. It's escalating, and these reciprocal tariffs seem like his new tactic.
So how are these reciprocal tariffs different from the other ones?
Well, the article kind of suggests that they might be a more targeted approach. You know, instead of just putting a tariff on everything a country sends to us,
Right.
it would be more focused on specific products
Okay.
where the U.S. thinks there's an unfair advantage.
So more like a strategic counterpunch.
Yeah, exactly.
But are they even effective?
That's the big question.
The article presents both sides.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah, the Trump administration, they argue that tariffs protect American industries and that it'll create jobs here in the U.S.
Right.
But a lot of economists disagree.
Yeah, they say it leads to higher prices for consumers.
Exactly. Think about it. If a company has to pay more to import stuff because of a tariff,
Right.
they're going to pass that cost on to us, the consumer.
Right, higher prices.
Higher prices, exactly.
And the article mentions that this leads to inflation.
Right.
Which, as we all know,
Yeah.
can really hit our wallets hard.
Absolutely.
It makes everything more expensive.
Yep, everything.
So it seems like a trade-off.
It is.
Potential benefits for our industries here, but potential costs for us, the consumers.
Exactly. Winners and losers.
Okay, so let's recap.
Okay.
Reciprocal tariffs.
Yeah.
Basically, a tit-for-tat response to other countries' tariff on our stuff. They're mainly aimed at those emerging markets,
Yeah.
which are probably going to feel it more.
Right.
And there's a lot of debate about how well they work.
Huge debate.
Could be good for manufacturing here,
Potentially.
but also could mean higher prices, inflation for us.
Right, for the average person.
Exactly.
And, you know, as you keep up with this story, think about how these tariffs could really change global trade,
Mm.
relationships between countries.
Right.
It's not just about the money, it's about global power,
Yeah.
geopolitics. Will it make things worse?
Right.
Or will we actually get fair trade deals in the end?
Good question.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely a lot to think about.
A lot to think about.
Okay, well, thanks for breaking this down.
No problem. Glad we could do this.
To be continued, I remember.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, that's it for our deep dive today. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Catch you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.